You might not realize it, but if you're anything like the dozens of social workers I've spoken directly with about their hopes for the future, sooner or later, you might be reconsidering what you want out of your life and shifting what you expect from your career as well. Because let's face it, a career in social work ain't always easy. Important? Yes. Meaningful? Absolutely. Always able to provide the financial freedom and impact you crave the most? Not always so much. And if you're one of those people whose excitement from getting your social work degree has waned over the years and you're not sure if it's something you still want to continue to do, then let this video be your portal to enlightenment and possibility on your journey. Because the last thing you want to do is end up regretting your career choice while you're curled up in a little ball in the corner, crying your eyes out about the life that could have been. I promise you there's hope, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you can still craft a rich life from your career. So in this video, I'm sharing with you my 4 essential pillars to crafting your rich life when you find yourself in a career or life rut and you're just trying to get out. And I mean crafting a life that includes the time and money freedom you need to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it. I've done it myself, and you can too. I've even organized the pillars as the acronym for RICH. So strap in, because we're going to get right into it. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome to Rich Social Worker. I'm Eva Ford, social worker, mindset mentor, and online business coach. And if you know you're meant to make a bigger impact in the world and you want to have a bigger income, you will definitely want to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video, where we talk about things like getting out of a career or life rut to help you live your richest life, which is absolutely possible. But so many social workers I talk to are so focused on the current reality of not having enough time, or not having the amount of money or freedom, or not being able to make the impact that they want, as opposed to being focused on the possibility of doing those things, that they don't even let themselves believe that the possibility exists. And how can you have those things in your reality unless you do? So let's use an analogy from aviation. Experts in air navigation have a rule of thumb known as the 1 in 60 rule. It states that for every 1 degree a plane veers off of its course, it misses its target destination by 1 mile for every 60 miles you fly. So this means that the further you travel, the further you are from your destination. Now, applying this principle to you and your life, every nurtured thought or emotion about where you don't want to be and the rut that you're currently in represents that 1 degree off course that takes you further and further from where you truly want to go. And if you found yourself in this negative cycle, or you're tired of your current reality, then the first thing you need is a ruthless commitment to holding that vision of what's possible for you and of where you actually want to be, what you want to do, and where you're actually going. Now, if you're not familiar with my story and how Rich Social Worker even came about, I will be honest. It was born out of my pain and massive dissatisfaction with my then reality as a social worker and leader, which is where I know a lot of you are right now. I wasn't earning the type of money that I needed to earn to make ends meet. I wasn't able to give or serve in the ways that I wanted, which really tore me up. I was stressed all the way out. I couldn't travel. I felt trapped, frankly. It just wasn't a good time. There were many days when it was really hard to stay motivated when I was just scraping by. But when I look back on that time, I know it was my ruthless commitment to a vision of where I wanted to be, where I wanted to go, that allowed me to keep moving in the direction of my intended destination. I will admit it wasn't always easy to recalibrate my vision and get back on track when I found myself off, but that's why I had to be ruthless with it and determined. It is the first thing that you'll need to have for yourself as well. But that's not the only thing, because once you have your vision in place and your ruthless commitment to it, you'll then need to be intentional with the actions that you take towards that goal. Now, let me make a distinction and be clear, because maybe someone will hear me say that they need to be intentional with their actions and perhaps think that I'm suggesting that they just pay more attention to the redundant and uninspiring things that they're doing already. That is not what I'm saying. When I talk about being intentional with your actions, I mean that you've got to make conscious, deliberate decisions to take new actions in the direction of your vision and your new goal. Now, I started taking actions towards entrepreneurship because I knew that was going to give me the time and location and financial freedom that I craved the most. And I found that the quickest way to get to your desired destination is to model someone who's already made it. As personal development guru Tony Robbins always says, success leaves clues. And people who produce outstanding results do specific things to create those results. And when you duplicate those exact steps intentionally, you can reach your destination that much faster as well. Now, when I started making conscious decisions to help me get out of the rut that I was in, I read blogs and books and magazines on personal development and financial freedom. I followed YouTube channels just like this one that shared invaluable information about business building and wealth creation and having a wealth mentality. I launched with Social Worker as a blog, and eventually I got a coach. And if you've been following me for a while, then you already know I started exercising regularly, using a detailed planner, and even was a member of a mastermind group, which was so amazing. And those are just a few of the actions that I took with intention. And even though at the time I felt like I was a million miles away from where I wanted to be, I got intentional about the actions that I could take to move me closer to my goal, and I kept doing that. Now for you, being a subscriber to Rich Social Worker is one great intentional action that you can take to move you closer to living the vision that you have for yourself. And joining the Facebook group is another. And being a part of a community of like-minded people on similar journeys is essential to your success, because when you start to take intentional steps to move you closer to that dream that you have of freedom and financial independence, you may soon realize that the hardest part about the journey isn't the technical learning of how to leverage your skills or how to build a business or how to make your own money. No. The hardest part about getting out of a rut and stepping into a rich life is going to be countering the mindset that tells you that there's something wrong with you wanting more, or that you're not cut out for this, or that no one really wants what you've got. You're going to be challenged internally and perhaps by well-meaning others on what you can and can't afford to do, to risk, to leave, and even of what's possible for you. Your identity as a good social worker and champion of equity is going to be called into question as you navigate what living a bigger life means on your terms. And the ideas of lack that say there aren't enough resources or aren't enough social workers to go around will challenge you on what you even think is ethical. That's why, in order to get out of the rut of dissatisfaction, complacency, and humdrumnity that threaten to stifle your happily ever after, you're going to have to choose. Choose to come from an abundance mindset that believes that there's more than enough of everything to go around. Choose to remember that lack and scarcity are just a byproduct of lack thinking, and that everything you can imagine having, doing, or being exists now. Choose to believe that the vision you're inspired to dream is possible for you and for anyone who wants it. And if you're anything like me, this will be an internal battle of epic proportions, because when you choose to believe in the possibility of your dreams, you simultaneously choose to disbelieve the doubt you've been practicing for so long. So it's not like you make the choice to believe once and then it's done. Oh no. Coming from an abundance mindset and having an abundance mentality is an ongoing, continuous process that has to be practiced over and over again if it's to be adopted at all, especially if thinking from a place of lack and limitation have been your way of life, which unfortunately is often the social work custom. In his book Chatter, Ethan Ross articulates the default state of our inner chatter is often negative, and I'd argue that if you're a social worker, also extremely limiting. He warns that when we give in to negative and disorienting chatter, not only can it have detrimental impact on our careers, but can tank our health, sink our moods, strain our social connections, and cause us to fold under pressure. That's why each day, sometimes several times in the day, you'll need to make the choice to believe that your dreams of location independence or financial freedom or having a successful business, whatever you want, are all possible for you. I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but making the choice to see everything with an abundance mindset won't only catapult you out of that rut, but it will also make you impervious to indefinite stagnation and fast track you to where you actually want to be. Because your choice to come from an abundance mindset is the fuel in the engine of your desires that empowers your clarity, confidence, and capacity to obtain that rich life. Now, the final step in my formula for getting out of that rut and aligning with that rich life that you've been longing for, honor your inner self. To be clear, this is the spiritual part of you. your highest self. And I know if you're a social worker, you might be surprised to hear me even mentioning anything about a higher self, since we don't push our beliefs on others. But I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm reminding you of what you already know. I'm asking you to honor that part of you that's drawing you to get out of that rut in the first place. You might call it your heart, your gut, or God. But whatever you call that part of you that is your truest self, that part that my words fail to describe, pay attention to it and honor it. And if you're like me, it'll tell you that your purpose on this planet is bigger than where you are right now. And that in spite of any fear that comes up to deter you, it'll prod you to take action steps toward that vision. That inner voice has your back and wants you to thrive. It wants you to enjoy this life and have the freedom to support and connect you with others on their paths as well. It wants you to have meaningful experiences and to grow and to give. It wants you to live richly. So often it's when we don't honor that inner voice that we find ourselves in career and life ruts that have us questioning our entire reason for being. So the best thing you can do, as scary as it might be sometimes, is to honor it. Because in doing so, you honor your bigger mission and everyone you're going to impact. Now in the next video, I'll share with you the career pivot that helped me get out of my career and life rut to the freedom-rich life that I have now. So make sure your notification bell is turned on so you don't miss it. Until then, I believe you can dream, be, do, or have anything you want, but it starts with your mindset. So make sure it's a rich one. I'll see you in the next video.